I'm here with Kyle Lang. Hey, Kyle.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So, Kyle is with Remax out of Detroit, and we were talking about just like real estate problems. So, Kyle, tell me your thoughts on what helps us solve problems in real estate.
Sure. So when I first started in the industry a few years back, I had a loan officer that I was working with, and he had been in the business for a little bit, and he was
Hmm.
kind of a mentor to me. And he had said, "Activity solves all problems." So if you're
Boom.
not hearing the word no, you're not working enough, right? So you got
Yeah.
to get there. You got to grind, especially when you're first starting out. Um, you're going to get a lot of no's, and then the more success you have, the longer you're in the business, those no's become fewer and farther in between, to where you're not hearing it as often.
But when you first like heard him say activity solves all problems, do you remember like what you were like complaining about or like how you took that? Like what you thought that
Yeah,
meant?
it was just like one of those things where, so like when you first start in the industry, I feel like your business is kind of like a roller coaster, right? Where you
Yeah.
got like, 2, 3 deals pending at once, and those close. So then you're like, oh, I gotta go find something else, and then up and down and up and down. So basically he just said,
Very nauseating.
yeah, it can be for sure. But then
Yeah.
once you learn a routine and a system, and everyone's routine and everyone's system is different. There's some people that are super organized,
Mhm.
and there's other people that are not. Like if I could flip this camera around and show you my desk I'm sitting at right now, you'd be like, holy shit, like how did this guy get anything done? So it's it's all about what works for you and what works best for you. Like I'm the type of person where I'm an early riser,
Yeah.
and so I get up at 6 a.m. every day, and I'm out the door either going to the gym or to the office. The reason I go to the office that early is just if I have like a list of things that I know I have to get done,
Right.
I won't be able to focus on working out at the gym. I'll just be thinking about doing that the entire time. And then
Mhm.
it's just like my workout becomes more stressful than that stress relief that
Right.
a lot of people are looking for. So,
But I also think too, like that saying about the activity solves all problems is really similar to like practice makes perfect. But
yeah,
there's like a caveat, right? It's like perfect practice makes perfect, and
sure.
the right activities solve problems, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I think like what you're saying about the roller coaster, that does happen. And I usually find with most agents that somewhere between year 4 and year 6, if they've been doing the right activities, that definitely like evens out. You don't get you don't wonder like where your next deal is going to come from, where your next paycheck is going to come from. It's because you have realized that doing the right you know how to do the right activities to get what you want, which is a
Exactly.
paycheck, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And you'll learn, and you figure out what works for you.
For
So
you.
for me, I'm 29, so I'm relatively
Girl,
young in the
baby.
industry. Yeah. So I'm relatively young in the industry, and for social media is a really big thing that I lean on a lot. And I
Right.
really, you know, it was at a point last year where I would say probably about 75% of my business was coming from the initial contact was through Facebook.
Hmm.
Um, and now, like, I've noticed more and more this year, a lot of times it's just going to be a text message or a call from a past client. Hey, I
Yeah.
got the referral for you, or from a loan officer that I'm working with, or something like that. But still, when you're first starting out, lean on that. I mean, there's so many agents that I'm not a fan of doing this. I think this is super tacky, but there's so many agents that they'll take another agent's listing and they'll post it. They'll always give them credit underneath, right? But like you could do that
Yeah.
3, 4 times a day if you wanted to,
Yeah.
and eventually someone's going to see your shit and be like, oh, okay, like I'm going to reach out to them.
Exactly. Exactly. But I
So
think, yeah, so like part of that activity is not only doing the right things, but doing it consistently. And that's what it's alluding to,
like,
right?
yeah, my number one thing, and I hate this, like this, it's 2021. I remember when I first started, there was an agent and that worked in our office, and she'd been doing it for 35 years, and she did $2.5 million a year in production, but she knew that if I wanted to sell real estate, I had to go knock on doors. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's fucking 2016. I'm not knocking on anyone's door. Hey, do you want to sell your house? I don't know you. Like,
Yeah.
I'm young now. I looked even younger 5 years ago. Like
Sure.
that, that doesn't work. That's one of those things. And I still see so many agents that do that. I shouldn't say it doesn't work, because I'm sure there's some agents somewhere that
This
just like
doesn't work for you.
got a listing out of it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I was just like, door knocking, and they tell so many new agents go door knocking. It's like, that's just an excuse. That's just to say you did something. Like it's not like a
But I think though, I think, I mean, I built my business door knocking, but I think it does
what,
depend on
how
who you
long ago
are.
did you how
Huh?
long have you been doing that for?
I mean, that was a while. I mean, I do it now still too, but like 10
Really?
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it does depend. So you're making a good point though. Like there's a lot of ways to be successful in real estate. And it's just about what's going to work for you is not going to work for somebody else. Like if you
Right.
told that lady, hey, go on social media, she'd be like, absolutely not. It doesn't
Oh,
work because
yeah.
she's got 4 friends, right?
That's
But
one of my favorite things. I do, like every once in a while, my broker will ask me to speak at a company meeting about what I've been doing and how I'm doing it.
yeah,
And so, for the longest time, I always talk about my social media campaigns and
yeah,
what I'm doing, and how those have been working for me. And there was this one lady, she doesn't work here anymore, thank God. But there was one lady that she would always say, well, I don't like to use Facebook for business. And I was
mhm.
like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to fucking come, right? Like,
No,
what
right,
I'm gonna talk about when like, that's just, I'm there. You ever ask me what I'm doing? This is what
right,
I'm doing, how I'm doing it.
right.
And there's some agents, that work in my office, that they've taken what I've done. Some of them copy it exactly. Some of them tweak it a little bit to whatever
Right.
they like or whatever works for them. And that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
There's
And
way more than one way to be successful. And it's like, yeah, but what, to your point, if like, okay, so if I wanted to do social media and it's been successful for you, then it's like, okay, then I would just take what you do and I would like literally copy it. Like
right.
it works. So if that works, like I'm going to do it too, because
Yeah.
it'll probably work for me. But it's
Right.
like, but in order for it to work, I'm sure there's like different things, right? Like it's only going to work if you have like a number of friends. Like it's not going to work if you have 2 friends on Facebook.
Well, yeah, and
It's
that's the
like
thing.
door
Like,
knocking's not gonna work if you only knock on 2 doors.
yeah, I was the, I, when I first said, all right, I'm really going to leverage social media,
Mhm.
I went through and everyone sees the people you may know stuff, people you
Right,
may know for friends on Facebook.
right.
So my rule of thumb was, if I have more than 30 mutual friends with you, I'm going to send you a friend request.
Nice.
And so if I had more than 30 mutual friends, as long as they weren't another agent or something like that,
Mhm.
I would add. I'm at the point now where I have too many agents that I'm friends with on social media. I was like, I got to weed through this, and I got to get back to just my sphere, my people that I want
Yeah, if you're using it to
to.
generate leads from buyers
Yeah,
and sellers, but if the agents are from out of town, those may be good to keep because then
exactly.
you can do like agent referrals.
Well, that's like we go to.
Or if they
I've
do a
done,
different part of the city, or if they do a different, do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like if there's, yeah,
I've done 3 deals this year, referrals from agents from Florida that I've met at different events and stuff like that through
yeah,
Remax. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. But yeah, so that was my thing, was if I had more than 30 mutual friends with you, I wanted to add you, especially if one of those 30 mutual friends were a past client, because
Right.
then,
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
they'll,
Yeah,
they'll see me
absolutely.
interacting with them, and then they'll say, oh, hey, like, I saw you're friends with that Kyle guy. We want to buy a house. We want to sell our house. Could you get us in contact? All that type of stuff.
So when you think now about how activity solves all your problems, do you think about activity as far as time on task or the types of activities? Like how do you view that now?
I'm extremely content based still, so I want to try to put something out that is of value for people. And when I do that, I'm putting it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Every once in a while, I'll throw something on Twitter, but Twitter's like
How often are you putting content out?
at least once a day, once a
Once a
weekday.
day. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, you got to find that balance, because you don't want to post too much stuff, because then people will tune you out, right?
Right.
So I'm a firm believer in, people don't like seeing other people make money. That's just what it is. So like, they'll see someone, if they see you selling a bunch of houses and you're sharing a bunch of stuff, eventually they're gonna get a little bit sick of you. They're gonna get a little bit turned off, because they know us agents. We can make very very good money.
Right.
Uh, so I try to limit that. I try to mix in. So I coached hockey for the last 10 years. Prior to that, I played hockey. So I use a lot of my network through that. And then I am a father to the most beautiful 4-year-old you'll ever see in the world. So I like to incorporate her stuff as well into my social media. to make
Very Insta
make
ready, huh?
right, exactly. To
Yes.
make me seem like a more I'm a well-rounded person. I'm not just a real estate agent. I'm a dad, I'm a hockey coach. I
Right.
do all these other things too.
I think that's good advice. And most people, that's when people talk about getting leveraging social media, that's a similar advice that they give. So yeah, definitely. Well, I really appreciate you being on. If people do have a referral for you in Michigan, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I cover it's essentially all of Southeast Michigan. So if it's Lansing, south down to the Toledo, Ohio border, I
Okay.
got you covered.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook, Kyle Lang Homes. You can reach out to me via email. My email address is kylelanghomes@gmail.com, or just, my cell phone number is 248-515-7854. Feel free to reach out to me at any time, and I take care of every client as if they were my grandmother. So I
Awesome.
hope I can
You
help
like
out.
your grandma, right?
We have an okay relationship sometimes.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Kyle. Have a good rest of the day.
I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.